G'day, g'day, g'day. This is Charly, and I'm coming to you with your daily dose of business inspiration. Topic number 214, failing forward, embracing failure as a stepping stone for business. It'll be called something different by the time the titles go up, but we are talking about failure and how you can use failure to buoy your success in business. I know, weird concept, isn't it? For those who are just tuning into the podcast, welcome. I have spoken about failing forward and failure and success in business previously. And so I'm not going to go a lot into detail as to what it all means. I do really want to just talk about the advantages that failure provides your business and you as a business owner and a leader within your business, and perhaps give you some examples that might help you work out how you can apply it in your business, because it's really hard. There is nothing more confronting, I think, than to try something and fail and then try to find that silver lining where you can go, yep, that's fine. This is a growth point for me. And that's one of the things that failing forward is about. It's a growth point. It's accepting it as a growth point within yourself and within your business. So the first thing I'm going to recommend, and I always recommend, is failure isn't failure. It's just a learning opportunity. It's a chance to say, that didn't work. How can we make it? How can we do that better? How can we get over that bump in the road? So if you view every failure as a stepping stone towards success, take each setback and take that it offers you valuable lessons that can guide you, you're going to be able to make better decisions in the future. Now, that's a mindset thing as much as anything. It's like I said, it's pretty confronting when it feels like everything is in ashes around you, everything's gone up in this conflagration, and then it's just ashes around you of that's the smell of lost lost opportunity, basically. But it's not. It's a learning opportunity. I've said before, I think it was Edison, I haven't failed, I've just found 99 ways that it didn't work. It's a mindset. I really, really like it. It works really well. Sometimes I need to remind myself on that, though. It's not easy to do it all the time. So the one piece of advice I can give you there is if something fails, don't go, oh, I'm such a loser. I'm such a dork. Ugh, I suck at this. Don't do that. Be gentle to yourself and say, great, that's another way this doesn't work. But take time to analyze what went wrong. Identify what led to the setback, and then take that back into your strategies and say, well, how can we do it? Did you miss it as a contingency? That's always a possibility, that you didn't consider that this thing would happen and therefore you didn't have any contingencies in your plan to address it. Did you just miss it totally? Did you misread the market? What was it? So take that time to analyze what went wrong. Do a post-incident review. I'm big on those. Again, if you're new to the podcast, I'll refer back to a couple of the interviews I've done previously. The one with Stephen Morris is really good, where he talks about going through a post-incident review. Even if things go really well, they do a post-incident review and work out if there's places there that they could have done better even. But in this case, do a post-incident review and work out what failed, why it failed, and what you could do to address it in the future. That should then go back into your planning. So an example I have on that one is a local bakery launches a new line of pastries and they don't sell well. I can't imagine pastries are not selling well. They must be really bad if they don't sell all their pastries. Yum. But instead of giving up, the owner can collect feedback from their customers. They can learn about the preferences and adjust the recipes. That's one way of doing it. Maybe they didn't want pastries. Maybe they wanted cupcakes instead. Maybe they didn't want, I don't know, lemon tart pastries. Maybe they wanted orange meringue pastries. I'm making up things now. But if you don't ask, you don't know. You don't If you don't if you don't ask why this did why didn't you buy them? What was wrong with them? Was there something wrong with them, or was it just the wrong time of year? Maybe you're trying to sell ice creams in the middle of winter in Canberra, where it's -7 degrees outside. That's Celsius for my, US listeners. Once you get that feedback though, you should be surprised, and you should be pleasantly surprised that the pastries in this case become bestsellers because you've taken the time to learn from your failure. Which leads me to the second option, or the second point, and that's to innovate and pivot when necessary. Failure sometimes signals that it's time to pivot or innovate. Being adaptable, go back to yesterday's episode, and willing to change your approach can turn a failure into a new opportunity. So you need to be open to feedback at all points in time, and not just from your customers, not just from your suppliers, but also from your team members as well. And you need to be willing and ready to make those changes. You need to regularly evaluate your business model and be ready to pivot if you see a better path forward. I know I've spoken about this before, and I mean, even down to when I started this podcast, it was like, well, I'm going to do this for this podcast. And then I started getting feedback, and I started seeing what people were interacting with, and I was learning more as I went along as well. And I've changed the way I do things, and I'm going to continue changing the way I do things because I want it to be good, but I want it to be of value as well. So I'm going to be able to give you the value that I hope I can deliver to you. What's the good example on this one? Well, how about the clothing boutique that is struggling with declining sales? Instead of continuing with the same approach, the owner decides to pivot to an online store and use social media for marketing. So they take their stock, they get I don't know, a Shopify store, maybe. Maybe they put up a WooCommerce site on a WordPress platform. They take photos of all of their stock, they inventory it, they put it up on the website, and they go out to social media and say, hey, this is what I've got available. It might be of interest to, well, certainly it's going to be of interest to a lot more people. You've got a lot more reach. You're going to expand your audience, not just locally, but nationally and potentially internationally. And it's likely to give your business a bit of a boost. I think one real life example I can give you there. I'm going to really stretch on this one because it was many years ago. And it was in one of the times when, because I used to work for organisations that sold to federal government. And throughout my career, federal government has expanded and then contracted very quickly. And by contracted very quickly, I mean that there were a lot of redundancies. They stopped buying things. They cancelled a lot of projects, and it left businesses like the business I worked for kind of in the lurch because we had this plan. It's long sales cycle, so our plans were 2 or 3 years to be able to sell this project that we had. And all of a sudden those projects are gone. No, we're not spending that money. Those projects are no longer going ahead. They're not postponed, they're cancelled. So we had to pivot really, really quickly. And one of my bosses at that point in time came in, and we were all very worried that we were going to have jobs because there were no sales. And he went against the grain. He went out and he took his senior salespeople, and they went out and they spoke to senior management within government, team leaders, first assistant secretaries of the government departments, and started to get a picture for where the pain points within the government agencies were. And then he came up with plans on how we could address those pain points, and went against the grain where a lot of companies were actually contracting because there was no sales coming in, so they couldn't afford to employ people. He brought on new people, and those new people, we focused on different types of jobs, different types of work, different types of sales that we were going to get through. It was still within our bailiwick, still within our expertise, but we did it differently. And within 18 months, we were booming. Absolutely amazing. It was one of the most confronting examples I've ever seen of being prepared to pivot when necessary. The last part is use those failures to strengthen your business. That is probably the best thing that I can say, actually. Use it as an opportunity, but also look at what that failure revealed as a weakness within your business and then address it. Use what you find to strengthen your operations and your strategies. I mentioned earlier, did you not put a contingency into your plan because you didn't know you had to? Well, now you do. So you should be doing that on a regular basis. It's really important. Conduct regular reviews. You see, there's a pattern here, isn't there? There's a repeating pattern. Regular reviews. Look at your processes, look at your strategies. When a failure occurs, and it will occur, no one is perfect, and that's fine. Analyze that failure thoroughly to identify areas for improvement and implement necessary changes. The example I've got is the restaurant that faced a health inspection failure due to outdated practices. The owner, rather than castigating everyone and deciding they're going to shut down because they can't bring everything up to code and they're just going to get pinged again with a health inspection, they used that as an opportunity to overhaul their food safety protocols. They retrained staff. They upgraded kitchen equipment. It not only resolves the immediate issue, but it also gives an improved situation, which improves the overall quality and reputation of the restaurant. So you've got so many things there that you can be doing. And failure, it's not a bad thing. Failure is a learning point. It's one of those points. We've been talking a lot within Next Level Nation, Next Level University, the various coaching groups and book reviews and stuff that we've been doing. The book club is really good, and we were talking about it in book club the other day. Is that growth? What are we reading? We're reading Morgan Hauser as ever. I'll get the right name one day, but it's by Morgan Hauser, and one of his things is growth. Growth happens where the pain points are. Without failure, we can't grow. Without failure, we're not given that opportunity to build that muscle, to build that business muscle and let it grow and let it become stronger and more resilient. So failure to me is a really important and potentially positive experience. Okay, that's my take. That might be a bit much for some people. What do you guys think? I would love to hear. Leave comments wherever you're listening to or watching this video. Sorry, frog in the throat. Come across to Locals, ask charlyleetham.locals.com and join the conversation there. If you find my blog, because this will be up on my blog as well, you can leave a comment on my blog and we can discuss it there. Wherever makes sense, I would love to get into a discussion with you. Please remember to like this video, subscribe to my channel, ring the notification bell so you find out when I drop the next piece of content. It does go out daily, and I know people can get busy and forget to go and look for it. So if you ring the notification bell, it should pop up on your notifications and let you know that it's there, and you can press play and listen to me while you're, I don't know, doing the washing up, doing the laundry, going for your run. Maybe that will help. If you could leave a review, I would appreciate it. I do take the feedback seriously. I am here to provide value to you. I want to be of service to you and help you achieve greatness in your business. Tomorrow, we are going to be talking about purpose in business. I know I repeat a lot of things, but there's so much to talk about. I like to go back to them. So purpose in business, 215 tomorrow. And until then, guys, have a great day. Bye.